Hey everyone, I'm sorry that the video is being recorded literally a day late. My Thursday was beyond. I'm just gonna. It's fine. Um, my Thursday was beyond busy, and hey, I got sleep last night, so that's a good thing. So Thursday and Friday will just kind of be back to back. I'm not gonna worry about the Mere Christianity video until tomorrow, which will be Saturday. So once again, I do apologize for such a late time on the video. But we are going through Mark 7, 1 through 23, which is quite a bit, but I'll try to make this not too long of a video overall for the first one and then for the next one later on when I do it. But this is just an interesting interaction between Christ and the leaders and scribes because of the fact that uh, how the interaction just kind of went. So I'm using my CSB. Yeah, I'm using my CSB right now. And so if you read with me verses 1 through 23, the Pharisees and some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem gathered around him. They observed that some of his disciples were eating bread with unclean, that is, unwashed hands. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they give their hands a ceremonial washing. Give their hands, keeping the tradition of the elders. When they came from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they have washed. And there were many customs they have received and kept and keep, like the washing of cups, pitchers, kettles, and dining catches. So the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why don't your disciples live according to the tradition of the elders, instead of eating bread with unceremonial clean hands?" He answered them, Isaiah prophesied correctly about you hypocrites. As it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me. They worship me in vain, teaching as doctrines human commands. Abandoning the command of God, you hold on to human tradition. He also said to them, "You have a fine way of uh, invalidating God's command in order to set up your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and whoever speaks evil of their father or mother must be put to death. But you say, if anyone tells his father or mother, whatever benefit you might have received from me is carbon. That is an offering devoted to God. You no longer let him do anything for his father or mother. You uh, nuffle, nuffle the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down, and you do many other similar things. Summoning the crowd again, he told them, "Listen to me, all of you, and understand nothing that goes into a person from the outside can defile him, but all things that come out of a person are what defile him." And when he went into the house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him about the parable. He said to them, "Are you also as lacking in understanding? Don't you realize that nothing going into a person from the outside can defile him? For uh, it doesn't go into his heart, but into the stomach and is eliminated. Thus he declared all foods clean. And he said, what comes out of a person is what defiles him. He from within, out of people's hearts, come evil thoughts, sexual immoralities, thefts, murders, adulterous, greed, evil actions, deceit, self-indulgence, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a person. So all of that being said, I used the Moses image because I know the first time I read this, I also thought of another thing. So like I kind of used it as a reference point. I don't remember where I read it. I didn't write it down. So there's that. I don't know what happened to the light. There it is. But um I know that people throughout the New Testament compare the teaching of Moses and the laws and say, Christ, you don't follow these laws, so um, do you think you're better than him or Jacob's well and stuff like that. And so that's kind of why I have Moses there, and the mention of Moses as well for in verse 10 for Moses said, "Honor your father and mother." And what's interesting is that he says that, but it's so important that we remember that because people to this day ask the question, what does it mean to honor your father and mother? And what does that mean? Does it mean um to show them certain actions when they haven't earned it? Like I've heard people ask, like if they have a horrible father and mother, if they abandoned them, if they've been abusive, whatever it may be. What would the proper response be? And honoring them uh, is in a way showing them honor by not hating hating them, that which sounds kind of normal. As human beings, we want to just immediately hate those who have hurt us. However, I want to point out the fact of the importance of when we hate others, or when we have hatred, when we have anger, when we have any of that, we are hurting just ourselves more than we're not more than them, but we are hurting ourselves just as much as we're hurting them, because if we have hate in our hearts, we're not helping ourselves with that. And something else that's I find important in this is the fact that he's talking to the Pharisees and the scribes. They ask him about the unclean stuff, and I'm not saying go without cleaning your hands before eating stuff. No, that's what he's doing is using it as a point of a lesson of being clean and unclean. And because you know they might have gone the little extra mile of like making sure people make it seem, because they say ceremonial washing. They could have washed their hands in private, and no one even knows. But why is that light not shining? I'm just darkened. I have no light on my face, but whatever. But he talks about that, and something that I find important, and something that I didn't even write down, but he said to them, um, are you also at lacking in understanding? Don't you realize that nothing that going into a person from the outside can defile him, for it doesn't go into his heart, but into the stomach and is eliminated. Thus, he declared all foods clean, which actually touches on the book of Acts, when he's told when Peter is told from a dream to kill and eat, and he said, "I can't eat um, because the animal's being unclean," and he said, "Don't say anything that I've made is unclean." Um, oh, that yeah, that's where I yeah. Even though it doesn't compare the two, like I said, I forgot to put it down, but it's fine. Why is it important to view the traditions of the elders, like what they were talking about? I think it's important to view how they viewed the traditions of the elders, and how they kind of made that into a specific, way of living, not following specifically everything that Christ or specifically Moses taught in the Old Testament traditions, or following the commands of Christ. Um, why is that a thing? Like, we have traditions, we have traditions today that we've created, that people find so important, and so like, oh, it needs to be this or this or whatever. But it is what it is. Why is it more important to follow Christ? What is more important, to follow Christ or follow Moses? I say that because they even mention that another time. They compare the two. They always compare, one's teaching to another, and so that's pretty much it there. I like I said, I will have Mere Christianity chapter 5 done by tomorrow. We have Third John, and then Genesis will be starting up next Sunday. So I'm excited for that. The next video will be recorded later. Pretty much both will be submitted around the same time, but the next it will be recorded a little bit later. So uh, goodbye, and I apologize again for the mistake in not getting this out sooner. So